All right, what is up, everybody? Coming back at you with another video on the channel. And today we have a popular new knife from a newer American knife company. And they are doing something pretty innovative here, and I love to see American knife companies innovate and bring us awesome new stuff, especially very competitively priced as this knife is. So this is the Dead Reckoned Knives Ridgeback. They're a group of gentlemen out of Ohio. I do believe they've owned a machine shop for a long time, so they've obviously got some expertise there. And they have moved into knife making. I believe one of the owners is a veteran. The other one was an engineer or something along those lines. But they came out with this knife, the Ridgeback. And this is kind of their second version. They came out with the original, and we'll talk more about that. Let's look at the COA here. Ridgeback model RB2322-37. Body style 2, so they offer a plain. They offer one that has some checkering down the sides here. Blade style 2, this is the worn cleaver blade. This one is in fact 3V. This one is 7075 T6 aluminum. You can also get titanium. Finish is the salt bath nitride is what they're calling it, and black, whatever. But I really like they have assembled by and inspected by. So one person assembles, then it's rechecked by another person, which is cool. So I bought this directly from Ridgeback off their website. Shipping was really fast. Went out the next day. It came in this little pouch here, and it came with this card, and that was it. And that's cool with me. I've got a tote full of knife boxes I'll never look at again unless I sell them. But let's get right into the knife here. The Dead Reckoned Knives I lost at Ridgeback. So, I will say up front, I have had this knife a little over a month. I really wanted to get some carry, get some use, let it break in very well before I put my thoughts together and put a video out on it as a newer company, a negative video. Even though I'm a very small channel and it probably wouldn't do anything, a negative video can definitely hurt a new company starting out. So, check everything out here. This is the 3V blade still. Now you can kind of see your horizontal lines here through this coating. You really can't see any vertical lines. The coating so far has held up very well. I like the look of it. That salt bath nitride is something I don't have much experience with, never really heard of, but it seems to be doing pretty well here. Obviously this is a button lock knife, and it is in fact an integral knife, as you can see here. So like the card said, this is 7075 T6 aluminum. They also have titanium. This aluminum version comes in at $335, the titanium $450 to $480. You've got this beautiful milling on the body of the knife here, done very, very well. Kind of a stonewash finish to it. You got a steel pocket clip, and this is actually their logo. Yep, you can see it right there. I guess it's supposed to be that way, and that would be the logo. This pocket clip is reversible. It's a very cool system they have. You take this screw out, your clip pops off, then you take a screw out under the clip, and this pops off, and you just swap it. Very easy to do, takes seconds. So let's talk about the innovation here real quick. So what they have done here is they wanted to make a very robust button lock. And you can kind of see back here, when you push this button, you really can't see anything move. So, there we go. You can see that slot right there that the blade falls into. And that locks up, guys, rock solid. I've done some spine whacking. I think the spine whack test is stupid for a carry knife. Folding knives are not meant to take spine whacks. It just is what it is. If you feel differently, I understand that. Sounds like you need to carry a fixed blade. You know, for everyday use. Anyways, we're gonna move on from that. But what they've done here is they've actually pressed this button bushing assembly into the body. They have pressed that in, and then they press the pivot into the blade. So you can see when this blade spins, this pivot actually spins as well. So your screw here spins with the blade. What that does, though, it gives you some incredibly tight tolerances right there. It eliminates a lot of slop, a lot of play, and it makes a very, very solid lockup. So your button bushing is pressed in, your pivot is pressed in through the blade, and it feels extremely solid for a button lock. There's absolutely no give, no play. It's solid, guys. It really is. So, what are the downsides to that? You cannot disassemble this knife. And they state in comments on their website, this knife is not meant to be disassembled by the end user. With the way they've done this, there's also a sealed roller bearing system in there. So being a sealed system, you are supposed to be able to, if the action gets gritty, gummed up, you can run it through water, blow it out with some compressed air and re-oil, and you should be good to go. Now, if you do ever have any issues, they say send it in and they will happily fix it. So that is awesome. Shipping was really fast, buying direct from the manufacturer, and for me, this isn't always the case, but that is a good sign of customer service. If they ship quick, they care about you, they want you to get your product, they know you've paid a premium for a premium knife, and they want to give you a premium experience. Maybe I'm overthinking, just kind of my opinion. Flipper tab is jimped very well. Now, one of the small complaints I have is this blade hole. It is chamfered, but not extremely well. It is a little sharp if you're fidgeting with it a lot. You know, if they chamfer that a little more, I wouldn't have any complaints really. Now, when I first got it, it was extremely tight. You could barely reverse flick it. It took a lot of effort to use the flipper tab. And another thing the owners have said, he wants his knife to wear in, not wear out. So that's another reason I gave this knife a full month before I gave it a review. And I am happy I did, because as you can see, action is fantastic. Nice and fidgety, reverse flick's great, thumb flick's great, flipper tab's great. You can push button or light switch, either way, deploys very snappy. Ergonomics on this knife are fantastic. Now, my big ham hands, it is just a little bit tight because you've got, you know, very preset grip position here. So if your hand is bigger than XL to 2XL glove, it may not be comfortable for you. It is a large knife overall, over 8 inches, but it's almost a little tight right there. I've came to kind of learn how to grip it to where it's not, and then obviously you've got a generous finger choil here to choke up on, and that is extremely comfortable no matter how big your hands are. So there's that. Came very sharp. I did throw it on the strop real quick. Got some corner of a paper here. Yep, plenty sharp. Again, 3V blade still, which is awesome. It's also coated. They do Magna Cut as well with the titanium version. The button here, it's got some grip to it, nice tactile feedback. Pocket clip, there is a small gap there, but it doesn't tap and it retains tension pretty well. Works great with jeans, tactical type pants, anything thicker. Basketball shorts, it does, go in the pocket, doesn't feel super secure. But, you know, these guys kind of designed this to be a hard use knife in situations where you're probably not going to be wearing basketball shorts. So really not an issue. But overall, in having this knife for a little over a month now, I'm absolutely in love with it. I love the price, being this integral. The machining is beautifully done on this body. Pocket clip works great. Deployment's very fun and fidgety now that it's broken in. It will take some breaking, guys. So, you know, if you're not willing to break it in for a few weeks and give it a chance, maybe it's not for you. This does take some break-in, like a Chris Reeve or a Medford, something like that, which I kind of like. It kind of makes it feel like it's your knife. Hey, I broke this in. It is where it is now, and I'm very happy with it. You know, just my opinion there. Couple real quick size comparisons. I've got the Microtech Ram Lock stitch. If I could not hit my camera stand here. Almost the exact same size as the stitch. Chris Reeve Nums on Lefty. That was snappy. Little bit smaller than the Nums on there. I'm just whacking the shit out of this camera. Hinderer Eclipse. Little bit, well, about the same size as an Eclipse. So it is a good full-size knife. And I'm really digging it, guys. I've found myself going to this knife quite often for fidgeting, for carrying. Nice worn cleaver blade. I didn't love this blade when I first saw it, but it has really grown on me. And I'm really enjoying it now. So their first version was a drop point blade, and the blade ended like way up here, and there was a ton of room left in the handle, and people were complaining about that. That was actually their intention with the design, but they gave the people what they wanted. They listened. They gave us this full-length blade, and I'm really digging it. This thing can do some work. Only other very small complaint, you can tell this edge was hand done. It's not perfect. You know, you can kind of see it's a little wavy right here. This side is actually better. Your plunge grind's pretty far back. I'd say you'll be able to get quite a few sharpenings. Thought about maybe having it professionally sharpened, clean that up a little bit, but I'm going to use it when it's time to resharpen. We'll deal with that when we get there. Purely an aesthetic thing. Functionally works great, but being a newer company doing that by hand, you know, I'm sure they'll improve. Now, actually, the way they do this, 90 to 95% of everything is done by machines. Everything's, you know, ground down. Everything else, almost everything they do in-house. The screws they do in-house. I think the only thing they don't do in-house is the spring for the button. And one other small thing, maybe the pivot screw or something. But yeah, and those are American made, American sourced. Everything else they do in-house. I saw they've had a couple drops. I think they had some on DLT Trading. USA Made Blade did a drop recently, and most of them sold out. So for the money, I am absolutely loving this thing. $335 for an American made integral, 7075 T6 aluminum. You know, I'm a big titanium guy. Most of my knives are titanium, but I've really been getting into this aluminum recently. The Ramlock stitch in 7075 T6 aluminum. Loving it. Love the feel in hand. One thing with the aluminum, it is much lighter than titanium, so you're getting this knife in a much lighter package with pretty much all the same strengths, and everything else is titanium. Cheaper, lighter, strengths very similar. Yeah, I'm really digging it. So, you know, I do enjoy a well done aluminum knife. Seems like a lot of makers are moving to aluminum or adding aluminum offerings, which is cool. keeps the cost down, weight down, quality's still there. Yeah, so I think sometimes, you know, we're material snobs to an extent, which, don't get me wrong, I love my titanium, don't get me wrong. But you don't always have to have titanium to get a well done, nice fit and finish, high quality knife. So that is where we're at, guys. The Dead Reckon Knives Ridgeback, absolute win. Could absolutely recommend you pick one of these up. I am really loving it. Give it some time to break in, put a little oil in there, you know, work it in, carry it, and eventually it will get right where you want, I promise. So that being said, this is the Dead Reckon Knives Ridgeback. I appreciate you guys watching. So coming up on the channel, don't have any knives on the way right now. I am waiting for the Sharp by Design Derecho drop, that hawkbill looking knife. We'll be pumped for that to drop soon. Hopefully I can get one. Other than that, just, you know, see something cool drop, I'll grab it. Until then, I appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe to the channel, watch some of my other videos, and have yourself a great day.